You guys are rolling. I'm going to mute myself. I'll add Martin in as soon as I see him pop up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. If you're watching, you can also listen to this podcast on allthingscomedy.com. And if you go to allthingscomedy.com, you can hear podcasts from fellow comedians with a variety of topics. You'll see and hear Bill Burr's podcast, which is the Monday podcast. He also does another podcast with Bert Kreischer. That's the Bill and Bert podcast. Cameron Esposito has a podcast called The Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast. Who else has podcasts on All Things Comedy? Eddie Pepitone, Danish and O'Neill. Let's keep going. Devil's Advocate with Rosebud Baker. Sam Tripoli, Tin Foil Hat podcast, and just go to All Things Comedy, man. Just check out all the podcasts there. There's a plethora, a buffet, something for everybody there. Tom Papa has a podcast there. Doug Stanhope, Tom Rhodes. Just go there and check it out. And you can also watch this podcast on YouTube. If you're listening, you can watch it on YouTube at Ian Edwards or Ian Soccer Comic Rant Edwards. You could also listen on iTunes, Art19, and just probably anywhere you can hear anything. You could, go there and check it out. And can't remember if I did our sponsor, so I'll do it. If you're hearing it twice, then you're just hearing it twice. Sponsors On the Volley Apparel. Go to onthevolleyapparel.com and you'll see that they have tees, tanks, hoodies, jerseys, and hats for men and women. And most of the gear has hip hop soccer emblems on the front. And I'm not wearing one today. Sometimes I wear stuff, but they got some nice gear. It's Christmas time. And if you want a deal, you can use my promo code, which is Comic Rant, and get 20% off anything you get there. So go to onthevolleyapparel.com. And my guest, you can see one guest in the window right now. His name is Coach Gerald. He's a soccer coach. I just did his podcast when he was in Dubai coaching, and now he's a guest on my podcast. So what up, Gerald?
What's going on, my bro? I'm looking forward to it, man. Thank you. Thanks for the invite, man.
You're welcome. My pleasure, man. Are you sure you're looking for the invite? Because Martin's supposed to be on it. He's a Spurs fan, and once he hears you're an Arsenal fan,
it's a wrap.
Yeah. He's gonna try to get revenge for all the years of pain that Arsenal has caused Spurs.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because I've got a lot to say about how my team's playing at the moment.
Right.
In terms of the Tottenham fans, I think it's just let them have the little parade right now. I don't think come end of the season, I don't think they'll finish top of the Christmas tree, but we'll see.
All right, cool. I just fogged up my camera, trying to clean it. So just tell me something. Tell me about your football history.
Yeah, man.
This thing up.
Yeah. So I started playing at a young age. I played semi-professional, and I got to a stage where I played full-time football in England, in Cyprus. Went to Belgium. So I've done my rounds. I've done my rounds around the world a few times. And then, it got to a stage where, the game changes, the game develops. And I didn't really fulfill my potential.
Right.
And then around the age of 24, 25, I just said to myself, you know what, let me get into coaching from a young age, and hopefully I can give myself some time to get to the level that I wanted to. So yeah, I just started coaching. I've been coaching now for the past 6 years. Full time as well. I've been coaching with Arsenal, been coaching with Juventus Academy.
Oh, dope.
And I've set up previously my own academy, my local academy, just to help out the youths here, in the area where I grew up. So yeah, it's been a journey, and it's still continuing at the moment. So yeah, I'm back in London at the moment, spending some time with the family over Christmas, as you do. So yeah, that's just a little brief summary of my football journey.
Oh, so when I met you first online during the pandemic, and I did your podcast. You were in Dubai, and you were
Yeah,
coaching for Juventus
yeah,
Academy in
yeah.
Dubai. How did you get a job with a Juventus Academy, and what's Juventus Academy doing in Dubai?
So the first question, it was more so I initially started with Arsenal. They had a soccer school out there with Arsenal because I was working with Arsenal in London,
Hmm.
and at that time Arsenal soccer schools kind of closed down,
Hmm.
and Juventus came and took over. Once they came in, I was one of the coaches that they kept on. So I was there for a long time. And in terms of them being out there, it's also on a commercial aspect for them. It's really good, to go
Hmm.
out there and promote the Juventus brand, but also to kind of show the local people the way of Juventus Academy and the way Juventus play. In
Hmm.
terms of scouting players, quite difficult in that region because you have to be phenomenal to get to Europe. You know
Right.
how hard it is even for players, from the United States that are good standing. It's only of now we've seen some, young players come into Europe.
Right.
But yeah, in terms of scouting players, really, really difficult. However, we did send a few players to the academy just for them to experience, being at Juventus. So yeah,
Right.
man.
You sent them to the academy in Dubai, or from the one in Dubai to Italy.
Yeah, so the one from Dubai to Italy. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough. It's a tough industry to break through.
What makes a player special at
I
that
th-
age?
at that age, it's quite difficult to kind of say what makes a special player because for me,
Hmm.
it's impossible to say at 11 years old you're going to be a professional footballer because there's so much elements that come into it where it's not just ability. It's
Hmm.
sometimes the mindset. It's are you going to go and train when your friends are sitting around playing the new PlayStation 5, or are you going to be relaxing and doing the same thing with them? Because there's so many kids out there that want to become professional footballers. You got players in young kids in Brazil who are hungry to make it,
Right.
and it's a tough industry. But in terms of special, to kind of gauge where they're at is, are they doing the simple things really well? A lot of people look at
Mm.
players and they think, if they're doing YouTube tricks, as a lot of people like to call it, that's not going to get you nowhere. It's good for the highlight reel, but as a player, being an effective player, can you do the simple things really well?
Right. Uh, Trying to think if I have any more Dubai questions. And you were out there for 5 years?
Yeah, yeah. So where I was at, I was literally just
Oh.
outside of Dubai, which was a
Hmm.
little bit quiet compared to Dubai. So I was in a place called Oman. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
when I say Oman, people are like, "Where's that?" I've never heard of that
No, I've
before.
heard of Oman.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
From
So
movies
Oman.
and stuff.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very scenic. Definitely very scenic. But
Hmm.
it's a lot more quiet to Dubai. But yes, it's a similar culture and the same culture, to be honest.
Right. So when Juventus comes in and takes over Arsenal's academy, do they
Yeah.
get to get dibs on the players that Arsenal was already training and paying to train and all that?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So literally, they just come and just rebranded. They literally took over the whole everything that was already in
And
place.
paint
So
stripes on those shirts,
paint
on
black and
those
white stripes.
burgers.
You know what I mean? So yeah, easy work for them.
Yeah, that's messed up. That's messed up and good at the same time.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
and so how far did you get as a player? Did you belong to any of the British uh, youth team setups when you were coming
So
up?
yeah, so I played for Northampton Town, which is,
Hmm.
yeah, it's not the biggest club, but they're currently, I think, League Two. Yeah, I think they're
Hmm.
in League Two. So I was there for a little while. Um, and then to be honest with you, at the age of 16,
Hmm.
I completely stopped playing football.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I got released, and yeah, it's like I said again, in terms of ability, it's not just about ability, it's your mindset, it's your mental side of the game. Is when
Hmm.
things are not going right, how are you reacting? And for
Hmm.
me, I didn't handle it well. And there was a lot of things going on at home and things like that. So I completely stopped playing football for about 3 years.
Oh, okay.
And I just started hanging around with the local kids, and
Right.
and I started doing things that I shouldn't be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's only took where I got to a stage where, a lot of my friends were, they were going down the wrong path, and I was going down the same path. And it's only when I actually got stabbed.
Oh,
Um,
snap.
yeah, so I
You got
wasn't.
stabbed back into football?
No, I got stabbed into the hospital bed. That's what I got stabbed. So yeah, I was
Yeah,
in
you
the,
were doing the wrong thing.
I was definitely doing the wrong things. And it's only that when I was in that hospital bed, and I said to myself, like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What do you like to do? And it was just, I took it all the way back, and I said, what, football is my passion. Football is my, what I always
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do. And I got back into, I don't know if the viewers will know of the non-league, which is literally, it is Route One football. You go, it's like tennis. That's all. It's not football. It's like a tennis match.
Head, kick,
Yeah,
head from one kick down to the other back to the other end of the field.
it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. So yeah, I got into that sort of level, and I just built myself up to the point where I got opportunity to go and play out in Cyprus full time, which for me, again, it wasn't the highest level, but for the fact that I stopped playing for like 3-4 years, it was like, it was an achievement for me to say, you know what, I can wake up every single day and I'm going to go training, and I'm actually getting paid for this, so it was a blessing, to actually get to that level. As much as I wanted to get to the Premier League, and if Manchester United signed me, I would be kissing that badge same way anyway. So, but
I was playing in Cyprus.
yeah, it was different. It's a nice island. The standard of football, of course, is not the same as in terms of like England or France or Germany or Spain. But the experience, just again, like to wake up every single day and say, you know what, I'm playing full-time football, was amazing, man. Even though we was in a relegation battle, it was hard work.
Oh, well.
We had the fans on our back, so it was tough.
I'd do it. I'd take it. I'd love it. And Cyprus sounds like real Ibiza-ish to me.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
So I'd be like, all right, you want me to play in a Mediterranean tropical area with beautiful people and good food and a good life? I'll take it.
100%, man. It's definitely, they got a party place where it's called Ayia Napa. I don't know if you've heard of it before.
I have now.
There you go. Ayia Napa is like the Ibiza, basically. So, we'll have games, and then regardless of the result, sometimes we'll just go out, have a bit of fun. And then, it was nice. It was a nice environment to be around, to be fair.
Oh, dope. So you watch the Premier League, you're an Arsenal fan, and I guess we're here to discuss what the hell's been going on. And I want to get into the Arsenal bit. I'll stall off that because Martin's supposed to join. I know he's going to want to participate in that segment.
He's definitely got something for me. I know for sure.
Yeah. He doesn't even know what he's missing yet, and if he misses it, then he'll be disappointed.
For sure.
But let's talk about the Manchester derby this weekend. 0-0.
Boring match.
Yeah, pretty boring. It was like, it was a intense, scrappy, boring match. So if you're a fan of one of the teams like me, like I was engaged not on a quality level, but on a like stop them level. You know what I mean? And I can be happy about how our defense played and kind of happy about our midfield played, but I know we're playing City. So I know they have they've won titles 2 out of the last 3 years. So, a 0-0 draw with them is something. But then, you watch the games today. Today's Tuesday, and West Brom just drew with City. So was our 0-0 draw with Man City watered down? Should we have done better? And we probably should have. Like, I feel like like based on how the earlier game today, when the earlier game today was Chelsea versus Wolves, right?
Mm,
And Wolves has one style of play, but they really have two styles of play. And one is like defensive and wait for the fast break, and then the other one is like, let's just, we're down one goal, let's get on the front foot. And what Wolves showed in the second half, they beat Chelsea 2-1, is like
mm,
front foot football. Like they can play front foot football with the, as good as Chelsea can. And Chelsea
mm.
just bought a whole brand new team, and and Wolves has sold some of their good players and kind of filled in the spaces, and they had people that were on the bench last year starting getting more time, like Podence and
Mhm.
Neto. So, what did you think of that game yourself?
The Chelsea game and the Wolves one.
Yeah, well, I guess let's go to the Man City and then we'll go
The Man,
Chelsea.
yeah, I think the Man City game again, like you said, a lot of results. It's like, can you compare the Man City and the West Brom today to compare to the, Man City, Manchester United? That's a derby. That's a Manchester derby. You expect a little bit more in terms of goals, in terms of a little bit more fight from both teams. I think what it is that we've seen a season that we've never seen before in terms of obviously the whole situation that's happened in the world. The players have had less time to recover. The games are coming thick and fast at the moment also during this time, Christmas period.
Mhm.
I mean, we heard Roy Keane speak about how everyone was so friendly. Everyone's hugging each other in a derby. That is crazy. Like,
Roy Keane hates love.
he definitely he's a sour guy,
He's
but
the Grinch of football past.
he definitely is. I think he plays up to the camera as well a little bit.
Yeah,
He
for
does
sure.
love it. But I mean,
Hmm.
but at the same time, I do agree with him. This is a derby, where there shouldn't be no hugs and kisses, or it should be, we need the 3 points, especially against a derby, you know.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think at the moment a lot of players are lethargic. A lot of players are, just trying to reserve themselves as well.
Right.
And I think we've seen a lot of teams dropping a lot of points at the moment. Especially
Hmm.
my team. We're dropping a lot of points. I think I think also the lack of fans plays a big part of that as well. In terms of a derby, fans are going to be, egging each other on or whatever it
Hmm.
is. It brings a big atmosphere to the game. So once you remove that aspect, a lot of teams have lost that edge. We've seen the likes of Sheffield United. They were doing really well when the fans were around. However, once the fans were removed from stadiums, you could see the bottom of the league. They found it quite difficult. So yeah, I think again, with the way you described it with that
Hmm.
game, the United game and the City game is pretty correct. Where it's just, yeah, for me, it was just pretty boring. As a neutral to watch, it's pretty boring. I expect a little bit more as
Right.
a neutral, as it's a derby. And then today's game that I watched of Chelsea and Wolves. For me, Chelsea are just very inconsistent. It's like one week we'll see a Chelsea side where you're thinking they can actually win the league, and
Right.
then you just see them, being very naive sometimes, and just not being aggressive enough in the final third to take the chances. I don't feel Tammy Abraham is that striker for them to win the league, because as a team to win the league, you need some real hitters, and I don't
Hmm.
think Abraham is that guy. Out of 10 chances, he might maybe score 5. Giroud is not consistent neither. This is why he did leave Arsenal, because he just wasn't really consistent for us. As much as I rate him, I just
Right.
don't think he's consistent enough. And then, like you said, with Wolves, they have two styles of plays where, they sit back and then can they counter attack. And when things are not going right for them, they have the Vaseline merchant who comes on, and he's, the baby oil guy. So he comes on, he causes problems, which that's what happened as soon as Adama Traore came on. He
Right.
actually caused them problems. Neto, another young player who's very
Right.
direct.
He's very direct and very selfish too. Like there was one play today where he could have passed the ball. A few times he could have passed the ball,
Yeah,
and actually created some goals, but he put his head down. And he also today in the game against Chelsea dove,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so he'll dive or he's going to take the shot, but there's
Yeah.
no other option. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. And you need that sometimes as a forward player. You need that, again, what I was saying earlier on, that little bit of aggressiveness to your play. You know, I feel like Chelsea at the moment, they don't really have, well, they've got enough players there, like Werner. He's similar to that sort of style, but however, he's
Werner, and I would say Ziyech when he's not injured is like
Ziyech, yeah,
it's about that life.
for sure, for sure. And you know, since he's been injured, they've lost 2 games on the bounce now. So
Right.
yeah, I just don't feel Chelsea are consistent enough to actually win the league. They've definitely got the strength and depth in the squad. They definitely have the players. I just think it's too early for them. You know, they've actually made a lot of signings. So for the players to gel straight away, they do need a little bit more time, you know, to gel together.
The players will get the time, but you think Frank will get the time?
I think Frank will get the time just because he is a Chelsea legend. I think he'll get more of a time than the other managers. Because for me personally, I don't think he should have got the job in the first place. You know, I don't think he's done enough to merit that job. You know, his first job was at Derby, which is a big club. He had a task there to get them promoted, which he failed.
But he got them to the Wembley game.
Yeah, he got them.
Did he get them to the? Did he get them to the playoffs, or did he get them to the final game?
Yeah, so he got them to the playoff final, and they lost
against Villa.
To Villa. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they lost that one. So for me personally, if that's your objective to get, you know, the team promoted, I know you went to the final. Anything can happen. However, that is your objective, and you failed. And for you to get one of the biggest jobs in the world, you know, I think there's a bit of favoritism there. You know.
Oh yeah, for sure. How do you think he did last season?
I think he done all right. I just think, you know, again, the reason why he would do it, I mean, for the squad that he had, there's not much managing that you need to do with that squad. You know, you got World Cup winners in that squad. You got seasoned professionals in that squad. You know, you got Azpilicueta, Kante. You've had some good play, Giroud, even though he's not the best striker in the world. However, he is a seasoned player. He's a World Cup winner. So, I mean, in terms of overall performance, I think he done all right. And at the same time, I don't think there wasn't pressure for him to do anything because they had the transfer ban. You know, a lot of people wasn't really had any high expectation of Chelsea to do anything. So I think there wasn't enough pressure for him to do anything. However, being at Chelsea Football Club, there is pressure in general. But in terms of him delivering and, you know, winning trophies, I don't think there was anything there for him. So I think, yeah, overall, he done all right. I think this is the season where we can actually maybe, you know, see how he does and then kind of question him from there.
Well, it's just, they'll probably lost 2 games in a row, right?
Yeah.
And the beginning of the season was kind of shaky. So for me, I'm with you. I would say, let's see how the season goes, unless it gets really crazy and they start losing a ton of matches. But there are probably some fans who are like, I don't think he should have got that big of a job. And with this roster, we should get like a legit coach and probably want to fire him. And there's coaches that want to fire Solskjaer on a half-by-half basis.
Yeah.
There's people who want to fire Arteta. Like, were fans always like this? Like, from your memory? Or is this some new fan shit where it's like they just want to fire immediately? Like, even Zidane. He's at Real Madrid, and he won the league last year. Nobody even kind of expected it. He came in a rebuilding season, and people are like, you know what? Get rid of Zidane. It's like, why? I guess it's 2 questions. It's like, has it always been like this? And why would you even want to be a coach? Because until after the day you're hired, it's pretty much downhill from there, even after you win.
For sure, man. I think, do you know what it is? It's definitely a new age thing. You know,
Mhm.
we've definitely come up from an era where, you know, managers stayed at clubs for like 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. I
Mhm.
mean, look at the club that you support, you know,
Mhm.
Sir Alex Ferguson. He was there over 20 years. You know,
Yeah.
Arsenal, he had Arsene Wenger, which was over 20 years. Even people like David Moyes, when he was at Everton, he was there for like 6, 7, 8 years,
Yeah.
you know, so
Success ruined his life.
exactly that. But I think what I think we're living in a generation where people want things instantly.
Mhm.
So especially as a coach, you know, we've seen the new age coaches where, you know, Pep, he has like 3 year projects. I think this is the longest that he's ever stayed at a club.
Yeah.
Even Mourinho, to be fair, he does like 3 year projects as well.
Mhm.
So I think we're at that era where it's like people want fame or whatever it is, results straight away.
Mhm.
So I think there is a lot of pressure on managers to perform straight away. I mean, in terms of Zidane, I think that's crazy. But again, that's Real Madrid for you, where, you
Yeah.
know, the guys won 3 Champions Leagues on the row. You
Only
know,
3.
only 3. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. The Champions League is the biggest, you know, European competition or football competition club wise that you can win.
You
So,
remember Del Bosque?
of course, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
remember? I remember him winning Champions League for Real Madrid, and they
Mm.
fired him because he didn't win the league.
Yeah, yeah. I remember
I,
that
I
as well.
remember that, and I was like, I wasn't. I don't know if I was a Real Madrid fan then. I became a Real Madrid fan later, but that always pissed me off. I became a Del Bosque fan.
Yeah, he's a dope manager as well.
Yeah, yeah,
He's a dope manager. Even they done that to Capello as well. I think he won the
yeah,
league, but they sacked him because he didn't win the Champions League. So
yeah.
it's like it's crazy, you know. But yeah, in terms of a coach, it is definitely a volatile sort of position because you don't know when, you know, you're gonna get sacked. And I just read just a minute ago that
Hmm.
Slaven Bilic apparently is going to be getting sacked, and the guy just got a result
He
against
just got a result against City.
City. Yeah, so look how crazy that is. Like, yeah, Slaven,
Damn.
thanks for getting us a point, but by the way, you're going to get sacked,
Jesus.
which is
Yeah,
crazy.
and he brought them up
Yeah, he brought them
from
up as
the
well.
league below. Uh, I guess one of the people I wanted to throw in the names of, like you talked about, coaches who used to be in the league for a long time, was Gerard Houllier.
Mm,
And that's the old Liverpool coach. I used to like him, and he just died
yeah,
uh, this week, I think. So shout out to Gerard Houllier
yeah, man,
and everything he did at Liverpool, because those are some good ass squads that he put on the field.
for sure, man, for
And
sure.
up until this moment in Liverpool history, besides the brief run that Brendan Rodgers had before that, it was Gerard Houllier was the last person to like keep Liverpool's name out there.
Yeah,
And
man.
then when they won with Benitez, but
Yeah, yeah, Rafa,
the
yeah,
Champions League, Rafa. But Gerard Julio, shout out for doing what you did. And the French World Cup coach said he wouldn't have won without him. So yeah,
nah,
shout
for
out to
sure,
Gerard Julio.
yeah, he was dope, man. He had a
Yeah, he
dope
was
team,
dope. Yeah, he was dope. Had a dope team, and yeah, I liked him. Not a Liverpool fan, but I definitely liked him.
yeah, no,
Uh,
for sure. R.I.P. Gerard Houdé, man.
yeah, R.I.P. fam. Uh, I want to see what's happened. So football is coming in thick and fast. We had the weekend games, but then
Mm,
it's Tuesday, and we had 2 games today. There's games tomorrow.
tomorrow, yeah, we're
You
at
know,
we got Southampton tomorrow. We better win that.
now that's gonna be. This ain't like 3 years ago. Southampton is third. Well, they're fourth now
Yeah,
in the table, and you guys are
15th.
15th in their old place back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
So it's like Southampton is playing Southampton and Arsenal's playing Arsenal. That's
bro.
what's happening tomorrow, bro. And if Arteta loses this game tomorrow, what do you think should happen to Arteta?
Me personally, I wouldn't sack him.
Mm-hmm.
But again, just like what we spoke about earlier
Mm-hmm.
on in terms of like instant results, I think he has to go after this because I can't see I can't see it getting any better for him.
What do you mean
think
go after? Go after what?
after this game, I think if he doesn't win this game, I think he has to go just because
Oh yeah.
I can't see it getting any better for him, you know, in terms of like the morale of the team. I think what's happened is because it's crazy how 1 minute, you know, you're winning FA Cups, you're winning Community Shields, you're
Literally 1 minute. I mean, the
like
shit just happened.
just literally just 1 minute ago that was happening. You know, you had
Like 3 months ago.
yeah, just around the corner, bro. It was just
Yeah.
around the corner. Do you know what I mean? So it's like for us to go to that stage where you've got our best player who, you know, was looking to leave. He had, you know, Barcelona that wanted to sign him or whoever else that wanted to sign him at that time. You convinced him to stay. You convinced him to sign a new contract. Now we've gone and signed Thomas Partey, another world-class, a very good player, you know, someone that's highly regarded in his position that you've
Played
managed
good
to,
against us.
yeah,
Jesus.
he had a really good game. So it's like you've managed to do all of that to the point now where it's like you seem like you don't know what you're doing. You know, he is a new manager. He is going to make mistakes without a doubt. However, I just think at the moment, what he's struggling with is dealing with personalities. You know, I think he had issues with the whole Guendouzi stuff. He had issues with the whole Saliba stuff.
Well, let me ask you about Guendouzi. Do you think he should have sent Guendouzi on a trip to Germany, or should he kept him? Because I rate Guendouzi as a player, and I wish Man U had him. So was there a better way? And then this Ozil situation, and now Xhaka.
Yeah. I think personally with the whole Guendouzi situation, I think because he's a new manager, he wants to kind of stamp his authority, and he felt like maybe this was a good opportunity for him to do this. But for me personally, I think he's a young man. He's going to make mistakes. I would have kept him on. You know, he does have that fight. He can play. And that's something that we've been lacking as a team. So why would you send someone like that on loan?
Would you keep Guendouzi or Xhaka? And I'm not saying picking on Xhaka because of what happened in the Burnley game or what happened. It just quality of people and temper. They both have a temper, but one of them is a better player and a younger player with more upside. And then you said Guendouzi had to like stamp his authority on the team, but you already stamped your authority by not playing Ozil.
Yeah, even with that situation, I think with the whole Ozil situation, I think that's a little bit out of his control. I think the whole Ozil situation was, I think when Ozil made those comments about, you know, what was happening in China, etc. So I think that's
what did Ozil say about
was.
China?
I
For
think
people who don't know, like me.
So I think he said something about that. I think China had some camps for Muslims or something like that. That they were, I think something
the Uyghurs.
I think something political was happening, and I think Ozil made some comments, and then, you know, a lot of sponsors removed Arsenal, and you know, there's big money coming out of China. He cost them money. So even like shirts and things like that, they removed them from stores in China. So it was a big thing. So it was more so for me personally, what it seems like it's more of a political thing that's happening with Ozil. And I think because Arteta is the manager, he is the face of Arsenal, he's taking the brunt of it. However, I do feel that there is footballing reasons why he is getting dropped also. However, at this present moment, it makes no sense that we need a playmaker and you are not playing him. So there's definitely more behind why he's not playing. You know,
but I think he's not playing because the organization of Arsenal is not putting him on the table as a choice for Arteta to even pick. Like based on what you just said, it sounds like this is so big. It has this guy. We want to get that money back from China. In order to get that money back from China, we are not making this player available to our coach. You know, because we're trying to show some allegiance to China and to make this money, even though, you know, hey man, fuck China. Like China does some shit sometimes where some NBA players tweeted something about China, and then China always does this bribery thing by pulling back money. So then they pulled back on some financial stuff for the NBA to just kind of threaten the NBA so that to make sure that none of their players would ever say anything negative about China. And it's like, hey man, you can't be doing something. It's fine. You're in control. You do what you do, but you can't stop people from doing these things. And then if you're not the country that people are accusing you of, you look like you are, because you're even stifling the voices of people who are not from your country, who are outside of your country by these financial threats.
But already, bro, money rules the world.
Say what? Money? Apparently, yeah.
Apparently, but money rules the world. So, yeah, man, it's. I think that's the situation with the Ozil, with Arteta, and I just think at the moment he hasn't handled things very well.
Right. So you think if Arteta loses against Southampton, a team that's in way better form, that he should probably go?
I think for himself, I think he should go, because for himself, he needs to go, because it's not going to get any better. I think if he was at a smaller club, he can buy some time. But again, we're a big club.
Martin picked up right away, right? Martin, you said we're a big club, and Martin like, oh, a nice victim.
I knew that I was going to get some giggles, but it's in reality,
it's eagle versus mountain goat time.
But the thing is, in reality, we are a big club. Obviously, for the past couple of years,
I think that you guys can win a title next season. It will
definitely
be champion. It will be championship, but still a title.
Oh shit!
I think personally, we got enough, silverware in our cabinet, like Tottenham. I think pretty empty. I don't think they've got
Get used
anything
to
in
it.
there.
Get used to it. Don't make new room yet.
So yeah, man. But
so Gerald, I guess you met Martin, Spurs fan. Martin, this is
nice to meet you, Martin.
Nice to meet you too. I have huge respect for Arsenal. I used to spend a lot of time with Juan Kanu during the gold days and Thierry Henry. Okay. I don't know if you guys mentioned what Patrice Evra said. Did you guys mention that?
Yeah. Well, we didn't mention it. I heard about it. Yeah.
Well, he said the story during the broadcast for Sky Sports, I believe. He said that,
go ahead. He was watching a game with Henry.
Henry invited him to watch the game, and then he saw Granit Xhaka bringing the team as a captain, and he turned off the TV. He said, "I cannot watch my team with Granit Xhaka as a captain." That's what Henry said to Evra, and Evra says it's 100% truth, which I believe it is.
And the guy next to him said,
apparently, we can't confirm that.
You can't confirm that. But I never thought about that before. But if Granit Xhaka was the captain of Manchester United, I would not be happy. So to me, that's just a bad choice, period. Like, I'm not happy that Maguire is the captain of Manchester United. There's no way he earned it, just even on a earn it thing. And especially when I'm listening to a lot of podcasts, so this is not my original idea, but if you're being protected by midfielders and wingbacks, why are you the captain? That alone, the morale, that just lowers the morale of the team. I wonder why Man United plays with such low confidence sometimes, and it's not until we go down a few games until we pick it up, and the way we come into games is just so un-Man U-like. And it's what is causing that? And it could be just something as simple as
Janusz Mikalik, who was the guest on the podcast. We also do a weekly show in Polish for Polish fans, and we discussed Manchester United last week.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, and he made a very good point. He said, if the team is so inconsistent in 2 years of having the same coach, that's on the coach. If the team is too inconsistent, because that means they don't really know what they want to play, and that's on the coach, and that's why he needs to be changed, because if there is, after 2 years, and you can see it with Mourinho at Tottenham, he really put this team together, and you can see a huge difference the way we play now and the way we played with him in his first, let's say 6 months.
Well, Martin, you gotta stop acting like you won a trophy.
No.
That's
I'm
all
just saying. I'm just
bro.
talking about playing consistent style of football, which
Chelsea
sometimes
was
could default.
consistent. Chelsea was consistent until the last 2 games.
No, they weren't consistent. I don't see the consistent style. I would say City was consistent until this season. I would say Liverpool is pretty consistent. I would say
You got Liverpool coming up.
Burnley was pretty. Burnley was pretty. Yeah. No, I agree. It's going to be a difficult game, which we might lose. But I'm saying we have a style of the way we play, and
what is that style, Martin?
It's and actually when you look at the Crystal Palace game, we created more chances. The style is to protect the defense. We don't have like one outstanding defender.
Not protect the goal, protect the defense.
We have very good defensive plan. We have the least amount of goals conceded in the league, which is a very good sign. And that's the style to play counter-attacking football.
So protect Alderweireld and protect Dyer. And use the speed of the smartness of Kane and the speed of
And it works. It works.
And for a period of time, though, Martin. This is the thing. My thing is at this present moment, I can't fault what Tottenham are doing. I'm a huge fan of Mourinho, personally. I think he's one of the best managers in the world.
Yes.
However, I think once things go downhill for him, because there's going to be a period of time, because you can't keep playing the same sort of football throughout this, throughout
we can play for a year or two, but then there'll be a moment where he's a high intensity guy. Although I can see that he's trying, that he's acting different, that he is acting different. He is acting a little bit different. So
he's changed as a person. I'll give him that. Definitely. I'll give him that.
Because he was burning people out before. Like after a while, he was burning people out because he's so intense. He's almost a manic personality, where he lives and breathes football. And here's the thing I want to say about Arsenal, because we kind of sidetracked the conversation a little bit. Here's what I want to say about Arsenal and what is the problem, why I don't value Arteta that much, and why I didn't value Arteta that much before the season. Because you guys have a lot of young talent, really good talented young players, and he, instead of building on the young players, he gives big contracts to Aubameyang and Willian. He plays David Luiz. He plays Xhaka. He plays all those guys, and it's just not working. And he keeps playing the same guys, and they keep making mistakes.
They're not losing because of David Luiz, though.
It's not just David Luiz. It's just not David. I'm saying there's no vision. He doesn't have a vision of what he wants to do. He pretty much.
I think he had a vision, but it's falling apart. Like I saw it. But now, and then when I was talking to Gerald,
I think it was
well, hold on. When I was talking to Gerald earlier, right, he mentioned that they should put Ozil back because they need a playmaker. But what's actually happening with Arsenal is they are creating chances. They created chances in the Spurs game. They have no sharpness.
I didn't create chances. They had possession. They created chances.
No, they had more chances than you guys. You guys had 2 chances. Bro.
No, you had 2 shots.
You had
bro.
2 shots.
They were crossing the ball to the space all game long for with no finish touch.
It's called sharpness. They have no sharpness. Like even the game this week.
They played into our hands. Come on, man. This game was not even close.
I mean, you could get Martin. That's why your style is not sustainable, because you can get beat. You can get beat. It's just like Chelsea today, right? Like once you get scored on, or once the other team, if you score on the other team, or the other team score, what if the other team score? What when Liverpool scores on you first tomorrow? Like, what are you guys gonna do? You have to change your whole.
We have enough offensive power. We have enough offensive power to overcome that for sure.
Plus, I think Liverpool is a better matchup because they all defend and half of them attack. It's a
tough matchup for anybody. It's the best team in England until you beat the champ. They're the champ. So and they're consistent. I'm not that much worried about Man U, Arsenal, or even City. I was feeling good about that game. But Chelsea and Liverpool are two teams that are difficult opponents. The way we match with them, they're very difficult opponents. However, Liverpool will miss some key players tomorrow, so including all the center backs. So that's a chance for a good result. I think if we play good defensive football and maybe hit them once on the counter, we can win 1-0 this game. I think it's possible. But I would say I wouldn't be surprised if the game ends 0-0.
Which Mourinho would love.
Yeah, I think he would take 1-0. I think 1-0 is doable.
Klopp doesn't want that though. But you definitely. Mourinho
The way they
does
play
definitely
against
want that.
Fulham, I mean, it's if they play against us like they play against Fulham, we'll win. Let me tell you that.
Let's talk about that Fulham game because that was it wasn't even a weird game. So I watched that game, Fulham versus Liverpool this weekend. And this is what I saw. I saw a team, Fulham, that for the whole week was just chilling at home, just eating, getting facials and shit, and having their body massaged by their coaches. And just while Liverpool played the midweek before, played on the weekend after that, and played midweek, and then rolls up on this really relaxed Fulham team that is finally starting to get their shit together. And Fulham kind of like jumped on them fast, the way you're supposed to jump on a team that is tired and has played more games in the season than you and does have injuries. And they jumped on them. And you know when you're cooking lobster and you grab the lobster and you put it in the hot water, and then it's in the hot water and it tries to get out, but then you put the lid on them. That's what Fulham did.
So cruel.
That's how they cook lobster, and that's what.
I thought you're vegan, Ian.
And that has nothing to do with me. That's how they cook lobster, not me. So Fulham like lobstered them until they created several chances and got their goal. And then after that, Fulham, Liverpool made their adjustments and came back at Fulham. But it was impressive to see a team in that part of the table get at Fulham, get at Liverpool like that. And it's like, you guys aren't going to do that. And that might be the formula to beat Liverpool, but that's not what you guys are going to do.
We'll see. But one word about Fulham, I'll have to give credit to the guy that I always liked. I liked him as a player. He was a very solid player. He wasn't like an unbelievably talented player, but he was a very solid player, Scott Parker, for Chelsea. Before he was, I think, captain at Charlton, when Charlton was still good. And they bought him one of the first buys of Abramovich. I remember very well because I was in London at that time and when they were buying him. So I was reading the newspapers the next day. And he was a hard worker and very solid. Didn't make too many mistakes. Not Maradona type of talent for sure, but very solid. And I think that's exactly what Fulham needed. They are very solid in the back. They have good center backs right now. They play disciplined football. And they have some offensive talent right now with Lukman and Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah.
Mitrovic didn't defend, so he's sitting on the bench. I can see what Parker is what kind of message he's trying to send. I mean, it's also a big decision when you sit down the fans' hero,
the guy that got you back into the Premier League.
Yeah, because you don't fit the system you're trying to play right now, and the other guy is giving you more defensively, I guess. So it's more disciplined and more, more cold-headed in a way. So I like what Parker is doing. I think he's doing a very good job. And right now I'm pretty positive about Fulham staying up from what I'm seeing.
What do you think about that game, Gerald, between Liverpool and this week?
Yeah, I just think with Fulham at the moment, I think they're just finally starting to get their feet and in terms of getting to understand the Premier League. I just don't think they've got enough personally to stay up. I think Parker's doing an all right job. I don't think he's going to do enough for them to keep them up. But in terms of that game, I think it's just one of those games where Fulham they've got nothing to lose. You're playing against the best team in the country. You might as well go full out to them. Rather than sitting back and just kind of taking the punches. So I think they just went full out. I think with Liverpool, it was more so a thing where they're thinking they're playing against Fulham, they should be beating them. They're definitely going to create chances. I think at the end of the day, they were always going to get a goal. And then eventually...
Fulham?
No, Liverpool. Yeah, they were definitely going to get a goal eventually. I think they made hard work for themselves. But yeah, I think it was just a game where it was a one-off. I think they've had a few one-offs as well, Liverpool. They lost 7-2 to Aston Villa. So I think there's cracks there for Liverpool for sure.
Well, let's talk about some moments in this game. There's some experts that are saying that Bobby, Amani, D. Cordova, Reed's goal. So many names, Reed's goal should have been disallowed because of that shove on Salah. Me, I'm like, fuck that. You're a footballer. You're a man.
Yeah.
It's a baby shove. and you could see Salah go into flop motion, and the only thing he didn't do was just like sell it and throw himself on the floor. But what do you think about the penalties? I think both penalties count, but I get it. Like every time I watched the penalty that they didn't give Fulham, every time I watch it, I changed my mind. I went back and forth. But then for some reason, my eyes cleared up after the game. And later on, when I saw the match of the day and then just watched it, I said, that is a penalty.
Like, we've definitely seen him given for sure.
Yeah.
You know, definitely see them given for sure. And it's just, again, this whole penalty situation it's not clear. Again, I don't think it's the VAR's fault. I think it's just, again, it comes down to interpretation and also the law of these penalties. And just, I think it's just a whole mess, to be honest with you. In terms of the Liverpool penalty, I think they're always going to get favoritism by referees. So they're
feels like that.
For sure, you know, they're the league, they're the league champions. That's always going to be part of it. You guys would know, Man United, you know, you guys are always getting penalties.
I can tell when the ref likes us.
For sure. You lot have been getting penalties from Sir Alex Ferguson days. Yeah.
We have like residual penalties in the bank just based on what Alex Ferguson did. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like the ref would be like, you know, and blow for us.
For no reason. Yeah, it's a penalty.
Yeah, for no reason. It's like Rashford got one this weekend against Man City. And then, you know, I didn't want that penalty. I wanted to win the game, but I didn't want that penalty. And it was an offside anyway when VAR looked at it. So VAR has done some good things in recent weeks where some penalties or some goals, you know, some penalty decisions got erased because they found out that the player, before he got in this position to be fouled, somebody was offside. So VAR has been doing some good things. And even today, I really love what VAR did on the Neto, the Neto penalty. Like it called it back. Because that's how you use VAR. Yeah, 100%. But that Liverpool penalty that Salah took, I guess. But come on, ref.
There should be a penalty for Fulham before.
That's what we was talking about. Yeah.
That's the problem. More. I have more of a problem with that than the Liverpool penalty.
Right. Let's see what else. Which other games? We got like half an hour. Sometimes when we do the podcast, we leave out the smaller teams. So I just want to find a way to kind of include them. I don't mean to diss Aston Villa.
Let me ask our guest here. If you think that Fulham goes down, who else will go down? Because I actually think Fulham will stay.
I think Fulham will go down. I think Sheffield United will go down. Without a doubt. Sheffield United have been poor.
The worst record in the history of Premier League. 1 point after 12 games. No, that's the worst record. Derby, when they finished with 12 points, which is the lowest number, they had 6 points at this stage.
Yeah, for sure. So I think them two will go down. I agree with you in terms of they've got some decent players at the moment. I just don't think defensively they're that good at the moment. They're definitely going to leak goals. Who else?
West
Brom is down.
West Brom. Yeah, West Brom. I think them three will go down.
Burnley.
I think Burnley, you see with Burnley, I think because defensively they know what they're doing. Sean Dyche, he's been in this position before. He's been in a relegation battle. I think they've got players that have been in this place before. So I think for them, they might go to the wire. Chris Wood has always got a goal in him. Somehow he always pops up with a goal.
He missed
this weekend.
He missed the sitter. He definitely missed. But Chris Wood's always popping up with a header or something. So I think they've just got enough to stay up. I think Burnley's the new Stoke.
Arsenal.
So, Arsenal. I hope we stay up. I think we've got enough to stay up.
Yeah, I agree. You will stay up, but I'll tell you what. I was listening to the Guardian podcast, and they made a very good point that you have to be careful because it happens even to big teams. Like it happened to Newcastle in the past. It happened to Leeds United. Leeds United were in the Champions League every year, and then there was one season when they dropped they were close to relegation zone, and the players just didn't know how to react because it was such a new situation for them, and they just crumbled under the pressure and criticism, and they went down. So,
but they also sold a lot of players.
They sold after they got down.
No, they sold because we ended up with Leeds players. We had Rio, we had Alan Smith.
They still had a very good team though when they
still had a very
good
team. Yeah.
Yeah, but you just don't like, if you're a top team, you just can't sell your bread and butter. But what are you going to eat? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure they sold more. I just remember the ones that we got. You know what I'm saying? The thing about Burnley, though, guys, I think Burnley might go down. The reason why I think Burnley might go down is because the gap between the coach and the Burnley board, and there's beef.
Yeah, there's beef.
The board is not supporting them, and just morale-wise, it's like, why would the players keep playing for this club, knowing that the club is not supporting them with reinforcements? And it's like
I have the relegation team.
Ultimately, if Burnley stays up, players know that the owners aren't going to do anything to financially support them or help them out next year. So why would they, with the games left in the season, turn this around? Like, this is going to get to them. Like, when you'll be able to tell, like, after this January window, like, if they don't do anything, the rest of what's holding them together might implode.
So guys, so I found a team that got relegated, the Leeds team. So they had Paul Robinson as a goalkeeper. He was an England goalkeeper. Then they had right back Gary Kelly, center back Michael Dewberry, also England international. Stephen Caldwell. Then Ian Hart, who was one of the best at his position. Then Jermaine Pennant, Dominic Matteo, Stephen McPhail, James Milner, Mark Viduka, and Alan Smith. That was the starting lineup.
That's a pretty decent team.
Yeah. They sold. I will tell you who they sold because it's also listed. Before the season,
Harry Q.
They sold Rio Ferdinand, Robbie Keane, Jonathan Woodgate.
Goals. Robbie Keane is goals. You can't sell goals.
Harry Q.
He went to Spurs, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You answering Gerald's question or mine?
So that was the team. Still pretty good team.
I think he did go to Spurs, Ian, and was Harry Q in that team?
I think he left to Liverpool.
The Liverpool, yeah. So he left as well. Then, yeah.
Right. Let's see where else.
Yeah, I think we got enough to stay up, though, Martin, man.
I do think so, but I think you might need a new manager. I think you really do. And there is a rumor, and if that happens, that's great for you guys. But I hope that's not going to happen.
What's the rumor? Pochettino?
No, Pochettino will never go there. Hasn't been.
Oh yeah, I'll take him all day long. Yeah, I'll take him.
Shoot, I'll take him.
I'll take him. He's good, man.
I'll take him. Or like, listen, I'm not Ollie out guy. Ollie has to see out the season for me to decide how I feel about him. But if we were gonna get rid of someone, it'll be, and we have to replace him, it'd be Brendan Rodgers, because I like the way he makes Leicester play. Like Leicester sells players every year, and look, they're always they're near the top of the table. Like, we have one of their players, and only the last game of the season got us past them. You know what I mean? And they didn't help themselves out when the game before, the defender that they replaced, the defender we took from them with, like, got a red card and was out for the important game against us. So, and then just looking where they are at the table now, Leicester is. I don't think he's good enough for you lot, though, bro. He's not good enough for us, but he still might be better than Solskjaer. And he'll add. Listen, when he was at Liverpool, when Liverpool didn't sell their players, like, we have to remember, like, Brendan Rodgers failed at Liverpool after Suarez and Sterling left. Like, they had a trio: Sterling, Suarez, and Sturridge, the three S's. And then you get rid of the two S's, like the score, and then when they fired him, I think they were like 7th. I don't think they were that far down. Then he goes to Scotland, he wins some titles, and then he's, the first season at Leicester, full season, they finished what, 5th? Fifth, yeah. I just think
I just think, sorry to cut you off, but I just think with Brendan Rodgers, I think he's that type of manager to get a mid-table team, because there isn't enough pressure for him to win the league with Leicester. I think they're up there. Whereas with Manchester United, you're every week you need to get those 3 points. And I don't think he has enough. I think he can go to Scotland and win the league with Celtic. There's only about 4 teams in Scotland. You know what I mean?
You know who's winning the league right now in Scotland, by the way?
Rangers.
Impressive. The Rangers with
Gerald.
Gerald, phenomenal job at Rangers. He completely turned it around.
For sure.
But I also think, like, to what you're saying, Gerald, like, I don't know if you know this, but Brendan Rodgers is a narcissist.
Yeah.
Who else to better run your club than a narcissist?
I agree with you. I think you lot are deserving a bigger. I think you lot should go for Allegri. I think that's the caliber of managers you should be going for.
I'll take him too, but I like what Brendan Rodgers also does with younger players. Like, if you look at that, that's why I like him. Like, I'm also looking at coaches that are gonna include the younger players, improve them, like, and that's what he's done in the season and a half that he's been at Leicester. Is like introduce players to our vernacular that we never even heard of, that are on a week by week basis doing damage in combination with a player that was supposed to be washed up and done. So that's what I like about him.
I think again, because the budget is not the same at Leicester, and you have to bring in these young players, otherwise you're going to be ending up with old players all the time. I think at United, again the pressure is going to be too much for him. You saw at Liverpool, once it got to the stage for him to deliver, he fumbled. I just don't think he's.
Well, Gerard did specifically. Gerard did specifically.
Oh yeah. He definitely slipped.
He slipped. Yeah. But but then you can't sell. The mindset of Liverpool at the time was wrong. Like, you can't sell your players, man. And then Suarez got into that biting thing with Ivanovic, and then he was out for a bunch of games, and then so a lot of things. But I like that with
Klopp finished the job for him. Definitely Klopp took this entire club to a completely different level. So even Rodgers did something good, but comparing to what Klopp did, it's
different
bleak,
level.
It's definitely not as good. If there was no Klopp and Liverpool were still where they are, where they were, then you would look different at the Rodgers. But because Klopp was able to accomplish what he didn't accomplish, that.
But look at the time it took Klopp to do that. Like, nobody thinks about that.
It's the same time they had, pretty much.
It took him 4 years to win a title. To win the Premier League. He won the Champions League in 3.
Yeah.
Went to the Now, Martin, how did you feel about this tie versus Crystal Palace? It's Tottenham versus Eze. How did you feel about Eze this weekend being a pain in your ass and just floating around and through, and Tokyo drifting, and just like running like Beyonce with his hair in a wind machine through your team? How did you feel about that?
Well, I think better. I think we was kind of a little bit unlucky that the goalkeeper for Crystal Palace was having a game of his life.
Oh yeah! Oh Jesus, man!
We pulled some good punches. We're like Floyd Mayweather, playing good defense and pulling punches where we had to. We just didn't land them, at the very end. So
you scored first, right?
Yep.
Mourinho said that. Do you know how I just described the lobster? After you scored, Crystal Palace went into cooking lobster mode on you guys. And
they didn't really
get out
do
of your
that.
half. You couldn't get out of your half, Martin, for a long ass time. They put it on you.
It's not that we couldn't. It's probably that we settled too much. I think for like 25, 30 minutes, we gave the ball away pretty much entirely, and that was, I think, a mistake. But at the same time, don't forget, Crystal Palace is a good team. It's a draw.
When did they become,
It's a good team. It's a dangerous team. You're not going to win every game.
Yeah.
You're not going to win every game. We took 8 points out of 4 games. I think it's a good result. If we can win or get a draw at Liverpool, that will be a good stretch. So
Gerald,
still top of the league. Still top of the league.
What do you think about that result for, and again, I think a part of this last weekend was all the teams that chilled midweek and got foot massages and pedicured and facials had a good game against the Champions League and Europa League teams.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, again, obviously midweek games, they don't help, but I think, the Tottenham team that they had in midweek wasn't the team that they put out against Palace. So a lot of those players were rested. I agree with Martin. I think Palace is a very good team. They're well organised. Roy Hodgson's an amazing manager. Like, he knows what he's doing. They beat you guys at the beginning of the season,
Wow.
Old Trafford.
That's disrespectful.
Pretty convincing.
All right.
Pretty convincing.
Okay.
So, no, I'm just saying, I think they're a good team.
I'd forgotten about that. All right.
So, but I think it's just one of those games again. It's
Mr. Memory Lane over here. All right.
It's a tough game, man. It's a tough game to play. But yeah, again, this is the thing about Tottenham. I don't know how long they can keep up that style of play. I can't see it going throughout the whole season, just doing the same thing. I know Mourinho is a guy who likes to sit back, absorb pressure, and then catch people in a counter attack. I just think there'll be games like this where you might lose a few games, and then we'll see the real Tottenham fans come out.
By the way, Zaha is having a very good season. How you feel as an Arsenal fan that you guys bought Pepe instead of Zaha?
I'm disappointed. I would have gone for Zaha from the beginning.
Nah, mate.
I would have gone for Zaha. I know you don't like Zaha, Ian, but I would have taken him just for the fact that he knows the Premier League. He knows what's expected. Pepe doesn't know. He's new to the league.
And he's a kind of a bust so far. Because, him and Ndombele came at the same time, and they both were not progressing, but now Ndombele is, and Pepe isn't.
For sure. Have you seen the documentary, the Tottenham one?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and you could see in Ndombele he was having some problems, but again, I think Mourinho is an experienced manager. He knows how to get the best out of players, And Arteta's new to this game, and I think this is the reason why, again, I feel like Arteta is having problems. I think off the pitch, he isn't dealing with situations in the best way. I think he's still learning, of course. He's a young manager, but yeah, do you know what? It's hard for me to say. I actually wanted Mourinho.
Oh, get out of here.
I wanted Mourinho just because he's an experienced manager, and the mess that we're in, we need an experienced manager to solve it.
But I don't think he would have taken your job, because I can see why he took Tottenham, and he took it even though he came from Chelsea, but he looked at that lineup and was like, "Oh, I could fix the season."
From Manu.
Say what?
He was in Manu.
But he was a Chelsea coach, a London coach. I know he came from Man U, but if you're a London coach and you're going to take another London job, there has to be a good reason. And he looked at like the squad and was like, they just went to the Champions League final. It's like, I just need a window and a half, and I could like mostly fix this. But Arsenal, like, I don't know what to do to fix Arsenal.
The whole team needs to
play young players instead of washed up veterans. I have to give it to Neil, and we were both arguing with Neil on day one, and actually he was right. Willian kind of lost his step, man. Like people, they're booing him. They're booing him.
Who's booing him? There's nobody there.
2,000 fans.
2,000 fans.
Let me tell you something, man. I had no idea 2,000 people could make that much noise. Like just overall, all the games. Like, I'm like, the noise I'm hearing, I'm like looking around the stadium, like, what? Only that amount of people? The only thing that makes me wonder is, why are they all in one section? Like, I thought the whole idea was to spread everybody out so they couldn't give each other anything if they had it. It's like, why aren't the fans spread out more throughout these stadiums? Like, they were kind of like, you might as well just let everybody back in.
Crystal Palace, like they were hugging players after they scored the tying goal. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They're like hugging players and hugging themselves.
It's hilarious. Yeah, people. Yeah.
That was crazy. That almost felt like a real game for a second. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? What would be a good season for you guys?
I'm in top 4, but I
Yeah.
think we have a chance to win a trophy. I don't know what kind of trophy. In Europa League, we kind of drew well. You guys, Man, you didn't. You have a very high task.
Benfica, yeah.
No, you have Real Sociedad. I mean, the Man U.
Oh, Man
Man U.
United. Yeah.
Talking about Man U, yeah.
We could beat a Real Sociedad.
I mean, Real Sociedad is the top of La Liga, and they have David Silva,
Yeah.
who you probably know very well from Manchester.
They don't have Man City's David Silva. They have.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He's playing great.
The MLS version of David Silva.
No, he's playing amazing. He didn't lose a step at all. He's playing fantastic.
It's a cute league.
La Liga?
Yeah, it's a cute
tough league, man. It's a tough league.
Come on.
I mean, listen, they're way better than me, right? No question. But, for long periods of his recent existence, it's just 2 teams and a possible Sevilla.
You know what's interesting? That in Europa League you have in the 5
and
top
Atletico,
leagues, there are 5 top leagues. Spain, France, England, Germany, and Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And the leaders of all 5 top leagues are in Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
All of 5. Real Sociedad, Milan,
right now.
I think Leverkusen, Tottenham, and who else? And Sociedad, yeah. And Lille.
What do you think that is, though? Why do you think that is? Do you think the standards have dropped?
No, I think Europa League is actually pretty good this season. I think it's a good competition this year.
And you're not saying that because you're in it, right?
We're both in it. We're all in it. We're all in it.
Yeah, we're all in it now.
Yeah.
This is funny because I'm playing. You ever play that race between how much % your battery has and how much time is left in the task? So I'm at 5% with 15 minutes left. So I'm trying to do I go get this power cord? But I'm going to go get it. And so you guys should discuss either an upcoming game of this week.
No, we'll discuss Shaka.
Let's talk
about
Shaka.
You should talk about Shaka.
Are you done with it, Shaka? Should he play? Let me ask you this: should he play another game for Arsenal?
Nah. He should have been gone from that time when he was swearing at the fans. That's when he should have been gone. Because as a player, you shouldn't be doing that, especially as a captain. You're supposed to be setting an example for the teams. You're supposed to be setting an example for the young players coming through, and for you to behave like that, I think he should have been gone from there. I just think when Arteta came in, he tried to give everyone a fresh chance, and also I think the lack of funds also just kind of forced Arteta to keep some of these players. And again, I think that the whole reason why some of these players are still there is due to the lack of funds. I don't think if it was Arteta's decision, he would have kept some of these players. I think it's beyond him. I think he's just more so a puppet, personally. But yeah, going back to Xhaka, I would get rid of him for sure.
What do you think of Aubameyang, that he signed a big deal and stopped playing?
I don't know what happened there. I really don't know what happened. I thought, him signing a new deal is going to, spur him on even more because, he's been consistent for the past, 2 seasons. He's been scoring goals. He's been top goal scorer for the past 2 seasons. So I don't know what it is. I think, again, it's just the morale has gone down just because of certain dealings that Arteta has had with some players. Even with the Pepe situation when he got sent off against Leeds, I think the way he dealt with that situation just kind of showed players that if they do make a mistake, it's is he going to back us or is he not going to back us?
What happened with that? I remember the sending off, but what happened?
Yeah, he was just
Pepe
saying,
was dumb.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was silly.
Yeah,
it was silly of Pepe, but I think certain comments that Arteta was saying that he shouldn't have done that, etc. Blah blah blah. Like he kind of had him out in the dry, and I think some players were just like as a manager, you're supposed to be backing us, and the whole.
For real, you're supposed to like back him in the press and then.
Yeah, in the press behind closed doors, you can say whatever you want, but in front of the press, you should be just saying it's just one of those things, you got to just back your players. And then the whole situation, not Ceballos and David Luiz, when they had the fight in the training ground, Arteta came out and said he's going to find out who's leaked this whole incident, and there's going to be repercussions. Again, as a manager, that's not the way you should be dealing with it in the media. You know, so it's like,
what should he say?
I think he should just say it's an internal thing, which he did say that, and just kept it as that. Okay. You shouldn't be talking out saying, you know, there's repercussions, etc. Just deal with it behind the scenes. You don't need to come out and you know, threaten players and saying, you know, that whoever's leaked it, there's going to be repercussions. Just deal with it behind the scenes.
All right. I'm learning how to manage. Trying to look. So we have the games. So there's games this midweek, and then there's games this weekend, all Premiership, right?
Yeah. It's back to back.
So Everton is bouncing back. They beat Chelsea. We kind of discussed that. It was great of Everton. Like Ancelotti, they started the season great, and then they went on a losing streak, and now they kind of. I'm trying to look for the best. So Martin, you're up against it. You have Liverpool, and then you have Leicester.
Tough games.
I think with Leicester will be fine. I think they'll play. They actually fit our style of football. I think we'll actually beat them easily.
For real? I think they play your style of football.
No. I think we'll be fine with Leicester. I think we'll be fine with Leicester. I'm worried about the Liverpool game because they historically under Klopp were very tough for us. You know, very very tough opponent. Glimmer of hope that they have their defensive issues, that they might not even have Matip for that game, so they'll have the whole team without a single center back, and that would play into Harry Kane's strengths because he likes to bully defenders that are, you know, not physically strong, and when you play,
he likes to bully, he likes to flop.
No, he likes to bully, and he was even called out by one of the pundits that he likes to come under a defender, which is a very dangerous thing, you know, or like put his knees up, put his elbows up, and he likes to bruise them here and there, and that's his way of playing. But it could be dangerous. It could lead to injuries, you know. So some people are criticizing him for that, but he does that to establish sort of a little bit of a fear in defender for his own health.
All right, and then. What did you think of the Wolves-Chelsea situation today? Because you weren't here earlier when we discussed it.
I think Chelsea have a problem because expectations are huge. This owner is not patient at all. He's probably the most impatient owner in Premier League, and he proved it historically that he didn't hesitate to even get rid of very big managers, including Mourinho himself. So Lampard has to step up soon, you know, or he'll be gone. There's no shortage of managers, even Pochettino, you know, there's no shortage of managers. The same situation as with Solskjaer and Arteta, although Lampard is doing much better, but he's also an unproven commodity in a way, you know. You
think Pochettino is better than Lampard? I'm just asking a general question.
Not sure. I think Lampard is better for Chelsea because of his heart is definitely in this club, but I also know that Abramovich wouldn't hesitate if he decides to do so, and he might want to, you know, go for more experienced manager.
All right. I guess we can kind of wrap this up. Is there any question you want to ask Gerald? Gerald's a coach. You missed the beginning of it. He's coached like for
I do.
Juventus youth in Dubai, and before that same thing was Arsenal's youth system, and then after COVID it got shut down and Juventus took over.
Yeah, I would like to ask actually, because I do talk to several Arsenal fans, and we discussed the same topic. That I'm also curious of what you think. Do you think that Arsene Wenger was underappreciated at the very end of his time at Arsenal, and now people are catching up with like those are actually good days?
For sure. I think personally, I was very, very surprised, you know, the treatment that Arsene Wenger was getting near the end of his time. You know, of course, we wasn't the Arsenal that we was before when he first started. However, times changed, and we could see now how much, you know, top four is classed as some sort of trophy just because of the money that's involved, you know, when you are finishing top four. And again, it's that saying, you don't know what you have until it's gone. So now that he has gone, we can see how much of a great job that he was doing with the lack of players that he had, you know, in terms of ability, why some of the players wasn't the best. Every season we had to sell players because, again, the owners had their own ways of dealing things. So 100%, I agree with you. I think, me personally, I'm a huge Arsene Wenger fan. He's the reason why I did kind of fall in love in terms of the style of play, because before that in the Premier League, it was 4-4-2. No one really knew what they were doing exactly in the Premier League. It was just all, you know, the culture was different. It was all about drinking beer before a match. And, you know, so when he did come in, he changed it completely and he opened up the eyes in terms of the English population when it came to football. So 100%, man. I'm a huge fan of Arsene Wenger, and he was definitely disrespected near the end. You can't do that to someone that's changed your club and made the club, basically, because prior to that, we was all right. You know, we was up there or whatnot. We was boring Arsenal, 1-0 Arsenal, and then he came and he changed things around. So, yeah, man, definitely. But we spoke with Ian earlier on how, you know, we're in an era where, you know, everyone wants instant results. You know, as soon as things are not going your way, it's like, oh, you need to leave, you need to get out. Where for me, that's wrong. You know, you need time.
Yeah, I think
with Liverpool.
I think the mistake with Wenger was that they didn't keep him at the club in sort of even as a, I don't know, general manager, sporting director.
But would he accept that?
I think he would. Why not?
Yeah.
He loves the club for sure.
Yeah, he got pushed out straight away. It was like, literally, you've got nothing to do with the club. And again, it comes down to the owners. They literally don't have anything for Arsenal. They're just there as a business. Obviously, the Cronkies, they've got, is it LA Rams? They've got
or Patriots.
Forgot what they have.
Yeah, they've got someone big out there in America. So for them, it's just a business as well. You know, I don't think they really like football like that. I think it's the status of having a club in London. You know, Arsenal again. I know you guys are going to laugh at me, but we are a big club. You know, we
no, you are.
We do
way bigger than Spurs. You know,
way bigger than Spurs. Thank you. Definitely are way
hey
bigger
man,
than Spurs.
I'm just here to speak the truth, baby.
No, man.
But what will happen once Kane gets injured?
Because he got injured last year. I mean, we did fine. I mean, listen, you know, we have a very good team. I think Levy became a really good owner, and Mourinho got him to spend for we bought well.
Yeah.
I think we'll finish top four. We'll see if we can.
And they got Bale.
But Bale most likely will go back to Real Madrid. I'm reading, you know, he's not really paying off, so he'll probably go back to Real Madrid after.
Is he not paying off? He's scoring when he plays, but he's not playing that much.
He scored one goal.
He scored in Europa, but he scored in Europa League last week.
He's okay. He's okay. He's not.
And he won you a game.
He's okay. He's a squad player, but expectations were higher than that. He's okay, and he's a legend, so I give it to him. You know, but he's not better than Bergwijn or Son at the moment, for sure not.
No.
So Son's at the apex of the league as far as predators.
Son is, in my opinion, the best player in the league right now.
At the moment,
for Bruno.
Yeah. Bruno's a pen merchant, bro. Come on.
Son is better than
Bruno's a what?
He's a pen merchant, bro. He loves the penalty. He loves a pen.
He scores.
That's what he loves.
He scored dubious penalties. That's what he does.
I mean, if you give it to him, he will take them and he will make them.
No, for sure.
But he's done. You know, ask Everton if he's a dubious penalty maker. He took them out.
But I have to one more time pinch a little bit. You know, like I don't recognize Aubameyang. I mean, something is wrong with this guy. I mean, something is wrong with Aubameyang. He was one of the best players in the league, and at Borussia Dortmund, he was also, when he came after Lewandowski, he was one of.
He was a goal a game machine.
Yeah, and it's something happened to him after he signed this new deal, and I'm just wondering, you know, because sometimes you see in the NBA that players sign a huge deal and they stop playing, stop performing. Is he turning into a big contract guy who doesn't care anymore? That's my question.
We'll see.
Yeah, come into the season, but
he finally scored, but you know, not what.
He finally scored, but not on the other team against his own.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
it was hard to take, man. It's hard to
But
take.
also,
that one.
like, listen, like, it's also the body language, you know. Either he doesn't get along with Arteta and tries to get him fired, or there's something else, because his body language is like he is passive, you know. He's not.
He's in scoring positions, but he's not 100% in those scoring
I
positions.
don't see any passion in him. He's so passive. He's so like, he looks like he doesn't care, you know. And that's very weird.
The goal he scored was pretty passionate. All right, guys, we got to go. Gerald, is there anything you want to say before we bounce?
No, thanks, man. Thanks for coming. Martin, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, man. Thank you again. Thanks for having me.
Huge respect for Arsenal. Used to party with Kanu Henry and Kolo Touré.
Oh, yeah?
I used to be in London at Kanu's house several times. And
Martin, they don't remember you.
They remember me, and I remember, and I think I said it on the podcast, or said to you privately. I remember that I came to the party, and Kolo Touré came with his wife, and it was
Don't say it.
The biggest woman I've seen in my entire life.
Don't say it. I told you don't say it. Jesus Christ. Any last thing? Thank you for coming on, Martin. I didn't get to do the intro as normal, but I got to wrap this up. Also, if you're listening or watching, like I said, I'm on Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic and on Twitter at Ian Edwards Comic. And also, I have an album streaming. It's brand new. Bill Burr Presents Ian Talk. So it's on Pandora, iTunes, and you can hear it on Sirius Radio. And it's going to hit some other streaming platforms this Friday. Thank you, Emma, for producing this. Aaron Brungard, a known producer, just had a child, and he's doing his thing. He's a dad now. So congrats to that. Him and his wife are doing fine. And holiday season, I guess we're going to do this again next week. And but, just in case some people don't get a chance to listen, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, all the holidays, that, are around this time. Everybody be good, be safe, be careful, have fun and love. All right. That's it. One.